Alright, welcome back. So we're going to go over the finals of Battle Hardened Philadelphia over this weekend. We got a Kano versus Uzuri in the finals. Who would have guessed these two characters in the finals here for this one? I won't lie, Kano in the finals, I mean, I would have said it would happen, right? Like, Kano, I think is really good right now. Obviously, probably going to be my pick for the Pro Tour in LA if I had to choose. But is also a sleeper in a lot of matchups, right? Like, a lot of these are pretty interesting to see, but Uzuri, I think he's gonna be one of the ones. He was one of my underdog picks. I was talking about on Twitter for a while. I think Uzuri was pretty good in the last couple of weeks. I've been saying it has been pretty good here, and kind of glad to see that it is doing really good. So we have another Spellfire Cloak here into Uzuri. Most of the time, you have a lot of time into Uzuri where you can use Tunic and you get multiple things out of the Tunic on a long game. The Uzuri is playing more like the Fatigue AB3 version, but decides to go for the Spellfire Cloak here. Not a bad option. You can always just have the resource, but with the Spellfire Cloak on your opponent's turn. But it looks like it pretty interesting from Joshua here. And Joshua is immediately going to go after the Gaze. The Gaze Ages has a Nourishing and a blue in hand, it looks like. So he's going to put the Gaze Ages on top. Caleb has AB2 from the Uzuri list, which is not to be the... It's like in the middle of AB1 and AB3, obviously is AB2, but makes it a little bit easier. It's not going to be... Like, AB1, you're basically Giga Dead to Kano. AB2 still should not be favored in this matchup because he only has AB2, but see how it goes. Plays the Gaze, looks like another lesson, and then a blue. Snaps them both to the bottom. I would 100% left that lesson on top, played that lesson. Decided he gets this random blue pitch and just AB1s. If you leave the lesson on top, you can do one more damage, put a card on top, and then you're gonna have that Nourishing in your arsenal that you basically play. Like, if you don't want to put like a power card on top, like basically what you can do the following turn is you could put your Wildfire into your arsenal. Like, you just flip get Wildfire, put it on top, or put a Blazing on top if you wanted to instead, because he's going to AB2 it, most likely. And then you play the Nourishing from your hand, you put the Blazing in your arsenal, and then now you have a 5-card hand. If he doesn't have a defensive reaction, they put it into his arsenal, which he probably won't, because he's probably taking all the defensive reactions out of his deck if he's playing against Kano. But decides just not to do that, and then decides not to get any additional damage into his opponent as well. So, lesson on the bottom, pretty interesting here. Just kind of blind flips it. 5-go again off the E-Strike, you just non-block it on the Kano side. See what else your opponent has. There's no blue pitch. Already dead here. Which is a 2 for 6. Is just gonna block it out from the Kano side. Uzuri going 5-6. So I don't know how you're gonna try to trade with Kano here. Let's see what he's gonna do. Let's see if he plays. He has a Sonic Boom. Oh, he's gonna play the Sonic Boom here, and not the Nourishing. So it's gonna come in for 4. So it's an EB2 here. Gonna take 2. Go to 36. Basically every single spell in the game can be played. Sees a Red Tome. Is gonna play Red Tome. Draws 2. Activate Kano. Look at the top. It's just gonna be another 0 for 1 here. Has a Depot in hand. You kind of just have to look at the top again. It's a pretty bad hit off the top here, but does find Gaze. Gaze is really good. So being able to Gaze here, that thing goes back to your hand. It looks like another Red Tome and a Red Snapback here. So you can put both of those. Basically, you can put both of those on top if you want to, or put one on top, one on the bottom. He's gonna come in for the 1. You can put 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom. If he puts the 1 on... Oh, just... He's gonna pass? Has the Gaze in hand. So leaves the Snapback on top and puts the Red Tome to the bottom. That's actually very interesting of a play, right? Because instead of, like... Keeping Snapback I don't know. I think you just get the free damage in on this turn. But he's still blocked for 6 on this Leave No Witness. Gets shredded. This is pretty obvious that he has an attack reaction if you're blocking for 6 here. Pretty bad. Also, something that's really good with the Tunic is that you can... Something that's also really bad with not playing Tunic is a lot of the time Uzuri does have a lot of breakpoints. And you can't block the 1, which is the most underutilized part of Tunic, is that you do just block with it a lot of the time. And you're perfectly fine doing that, just having basically an Iron Rot there, which is pretty good. He has a Spindle here, so he's going to come in for 5. But this is a pretty interesting game as well. He's going to take 3 here, let him offer 3. This is a pretty interesting game from the Kano side as well, because he just, like, draws the Nourishing in his opening hand, decides not just to, like, choose to play with basically a 6-card hand, because you would just have 6. Your opponent, I mean, your opponent can block it with the balance plus the whispers, which is why, personally, wouldn't be playing Nourishing in this, versus Uzuri in the first place, but it leaves it in there. Spindle hits for 3, puts all of them to the bottom, and then looking at the Uzuri side, it's just gonna play just already dead for 6, have 2 cards in his hand. Looks like he just has another tome in there as well. Alright, so he's gonna Spreading Plague here. So he's gonna give his opponent double Blood Rot from here, so he's gonna be already dead. Spreading Plague, 2 Blood Rot tokens. After blocking 6 on this already dead. It's pretty interesting because Joshua's like basically always blocking the exact number from the Uzuri side, which Uzuri has like tons of shreds, tons of like attack reactions and stuff like that. He's just kind of like deciding to just hopefully not hit. He is just gonna pay into this Boulder Puck, so it's gonna take 2. So it's gonna take 4. It's only gonna take 2 here as well. So looking at it, going from this Uzuri side, it looks like he's double Sigil in his hand, Shakedown, and I don't know what the last card is. So if he has a, I know he has a Codex in his arsenal. So is there a pitch red, pitch blue here to come with Nerve Scalpel? So Nerve Scalpel for 1. Most Uzuris don't play the op one because it would the one that does the non-attack actions, because realistically it would only be used for like Kano and Kasai, but they're using Nerve Scalpel plus the Scale Peeler versus Kasai because the Scale Peeler is really good. So it's gonna hit him for 1. It's gonna come in with the Sigil, gaining 3 life, coming with the second Sigil, gaining another 3 life, so basically gaining 6 on this turn, and then probably going to play that Codex from the arsenal here. Ponder, and then the Frailty here. Put the Leave No Witness, keeping 2 resources in hand, then coming with that Leave No Witness here. Has the Ponder token as well. So I'm going to keep the 2 resource floating. Don't want to just like randomly play a 2 for 6 and get blown out of the game. So I'm going to Kano here, have the Aether Flare, play Aether Flare for 1 pitching here. Yeah, we're just 1 here, and then Crucible Snapback. So gets that card out of his arsenal. Just want to AB1 here, take 3, go to 36. Still facing down this Leave No Witness as well. Is going to also banish the top card, which is going to be that E-Pot. Can't play. Kano at 17 here. It has another Chains plus a... I know it looks like he has a Chains in hand from the Kano side. I don't know what the other card is. Oh, so he has Chains plus Wildfire. Frailty token doesn't do anything against Kano. Just going to look at the graveyard real quick. Plays Chains. most likely just gonna name Oasis on this card. That'd be like the most, probably gonna be the most obvious answer here. Let's say he draws double blue, yellow, plus a red blazing. Has a wildfire in his arsenal as well. Double pitch a red to play the surgical extraction though, so could max only AB2. So if you do the math here, if he has, it just depends on what the middle spell is, with the wildfire for 4. So looks at it, it's gonna be a D pot, which is, if you're trying to go for it, this is gonna be the worst outcome that you can do here. Is play that D pot. Has the chains in his hand, so it is a little bit interesting here. What he can do, he's just gonna block the surgical for 6. It was a chain lightning, so it wasn't a blue, it was a chain lightning. This is an arsenal pass. The Chains of Eminence should die here. Okay, activates Crucible, puts the Sonic Boom to the bottom, and then is going to draw back up. So, had a chance of being able to combo on that turn. Drops the Sonic Boom as well, shows his opponent. So, let's see. Nerf Scalpel for 1 here. Just immediately takes it, goes to 16. I actually don't know what this card does. I know it's a contract card, but I actually don't know anything about this card. Can we, is it attack him for, I actually don't know how much this card actually attack. I don't think I've seen this card in so long. They're not putting on the place for us to see it. So Nyx the Nimble, contract, banish opponent's reaction cards, make a silver token. When it hits a hero, banish the top card of their deck. So it's just 1 for 5. So he just has no floating shreds here. So he blocks for 6, gets shredded. So he's going to take 1, banish to the top card of arsenal, and is ignoring to put the card to the bottom and pass. I guess he's playing just like the Nyx the Nimble, just to, you know, you swing your Scalpel, you play Nyx the Nimble. It's a good 2-card hand going through. Kano's doesn't like the thing on top, leaves it there, or likes the thing on top but does not want to play it. Was a yellow tome here, so then just plays the E-Pot from his hand. So you can do some D-Pot shenanigans as well on this turn. So it's going to be yellow into that Nerve Scalpel here, attacking for 1, going to 14. And then there's going to be a blue Isolate from Arsenal. Can be switched out with that Uzuri as well. Can only block 1 card, so the Kano never plays reactions as well, so unless you're playing a very specific like stack oriented build. So it's gonna block with the red Aether Flare here. Is gonna switch the things out with the Uzuri. It is gonna be a leave with Witness here, so it's like a pretty big blowout here. Blocks for 3. So he's gonna get the Wildfire, and he's gonna get the red Spindle from the top. Double hit off that leave witness. You're gonna get 3 silver tokens and deal 1 point of damage to that Kano. Pretty good disruption here from the Uzuri side. It is pretty hard to keep a pretty good card that you want from your. It's hard to keep the card that you want in your arsenal when you're playing Kano versus Uzuri here. So decides to not do any D-Pot shenanigans. Is gonna put just a card from his put one of the tomes in his arsenal here, and then pass his turn after playing the E-Pot. So he has 2 E-Pots and a Deja Vu in his hand. Opponent's just gonna play a blue Isolate from arsenal. No, non-blocks it. Uzuri, so come with a Shakedown for 6 here, and then is going to boots it, so when it hits, it would get go again here from the Black Tech Whispers. So going to hit for 6 here. Big question here from the Kano side, what to do. Your opponent has 3 cards in his hand, surely, and has Tunic up, right? So it's definitely going to be able to AB2 a lot of the spells that you're trying to go for. Your opponent's also at 36. You do have double E-Pot plus Deja Vu, so the math is the math can get there, right? You know you have at least 1 tome in hand, because you had red and a yellow tome from as well. Judge is also going to look at the deck from the Kano side. He keeps flipping the cards, so it's either he has his entire deck like upside down basically from when he draws cards, but it's just like a little suspicious. Not saying that he's anything's actually wrong, but it is something the judge should check, so it's perfectly fine. Thinking about it a little bit more, shakedown 4-6 here. Okay, so it's going to Kano with these two here. So Kano one time with the red and the yellow. So no Kano, like, oh, so you use Crucible. Okay, so has a Kano on the stack and then a Crucible on the stack as well, and then he's gonna D-pot. Okay, so he's gonna put these. Should have 2 floating. I would assume that he puts the. Okay, so puts the Wildfire there. Still has 2 floating. We know that there's a yellow tome and then a. Yeah, so it has a yellow tome plus a blue. So he uses E-pot to Kano, should have 1 floating. Has the Tome of Fyendel. So play the Tome of Fyendel, go to 0 floating. Draw 2 here. Okay, he needs to pay for this tome. Okay, there's 1 floating here. There shouldn't be 1 floating here, but say it's 0 floating. See what else he can do. His 3 cards in hand plus that E-pot still and has the Wildfire in the Banner Stone here. And already has Crucible activated, right? So this Wildfire minimum is going to come in for 5 here. 6 if he wants to node as well. Okay, he's going to use the Storm Shatter. Still needs to pay for the original tome, but yeah. So I'm going to try to use Balance of Justice to draw a card. So opponent has a 4-card hand here. Draws 2 off that tome. Should have pitched at least 1 more resource. Kano, something like the snapback here. Kano again is gonna look at a blue flare. So doesn't have a blazing or anything like that. Let's count some damage. Unless he has a blazing in his hand. Okay, so double pitches, uses that. Okay, it looks like he does have a blazing in hand, and then it's gonna be a lesson lava. So puts the blazing back. Okay, so it looks like Wildfire, Snapback, Flare, so that's 4 resources, has a yellow in hand, so she should have 3, should go to 3, and then pop E-pot would go to there, but he never paid for the tome, which, knowing that what's going to happen next, doesn't pay for the tome here. So Note is going to come in for 6. So all this opponent can do is just AV2 here. He's going to take 4. So if he takes 4 on this Wildfire. Oh, so now his opponent is like, where... You have, might not have enough resources? So Wildfire comes in for 4 here, right? He's gonna get AB2'd, obviously, because he has 4 cards in his hand, so it goes to 32. Okay, flares plus Metacarpus nodes, so it's gonna be plus 5, so it's gonna be for 6 coming in as well. So it's done 4, going to 32. If he AB2's this, it's gonna also take 4, go to 28. Alright, looks like they're in the middle of a judge call because I think this is the moment that they figure out that he never paid for the yellow tome, which is from all the way back then. The yellow tome from this turn never paid for, and then we've gone like a lot of steps going through that. Like counting a whole bunch of resources. Basically, you should have 1 less resource here, so he needs to not. Basically, to do this, he would need to not, like, Metacarpus node, this blue flare, and then he could pay for everything with the snapback coming through. So he never paid for the yellow tome, obviously, that's like the big judge call that comes through. But let's count the damage right here if he did it correctly, right? Like, if he paid for the yellow tome and then he got to this same situation, right? He still gets to play with the node off the wildfire, so he's still going to do 4 damage. Then he's going to come in, he's not going to node the flare, this blue flare, so he's going to come in for 5, so it'll just be 3 damage. So his opponent will go to 29 after doing 7 damage this turn. Snapback would come in for 3, plus the 3 off the flare, plus the 4 off the wildfire, so it would come in for 10. Most likely would also get AB'd 2 again, so it'd be 8. So done 15 damage here, your opponent would go to 21. And then we look at blazing for 15 plus 4 for 19. So it would be 34 damage, and then obviously he could also AB that as well. So it wouldn't kill Uzuri, but also you're putting Uzuri to like single digit life total here, and then only taking 6 going to 7. So this is gonna be I think a decent judge call here. I'm just gonna skip through this a little bit, just because, like, after doing the math in here, the Uzuri doesn't die. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. How they resolve this is that he just doesn't have. Here, I'll pause it real quick. How they resolve this is basically go to the last action to like have the resources. So he next to pay the node for the flare, but they just reverse it to him not having the resource, so he can't play snapback. So his opponent still AB2's the flare that comes in for 6, so he takes 4. So he's done 8 damage this turn. It's gonna be plus 8, so the blazing's gonna come in for 16 when his opponent's at 28. So he's probably gonna AB2 it, and then as well. So that's how they resolve this. I don't know if this is correct to resolve it this way, but this is how they resolve it there. I'll basically just say, like, if you don't, I don't know if I agree with this judge call at all, but what I'll say is if he just paid for everything correctly, and if he paid for everything correctly and he did everything, also that node is dead, by the way, because there, well, technically doesn't have any, not dead until the end of his turn. Takes 6 from the shakedown. Does still have the go again, and then he's going to leave no witness, so he's going to take another 4. So I'm going to go to 3 here as well. And then he's going to banish that top card. It's going to be another red, so he's going to make another silver token here. So he can't buy back those, the black tech as well, so Metacarpus should be dead here. Snapback will be banished infinitely as well. But how, like, that turn actually would have been, like, insanely, like, actually insane. Okay, then the node should die, because he paid for resources, so the node should die. But it's fine. It's not fine. They should be the graveyard. But, say, like, he actually paid for that, doesn't pay for that additional resource, right? Like, and then he's able to snap back on that turn. Like, Caleb would be at like single digit life total here instead of being at 14, because you would also just be able to snap back an additional time, plus that blazing would do even more damage because of the damage that you did from snapback. So Caleb would almost be dead, would have to additionally AB like multiple times. Caleb does play an Oasis in his deck, so oh my god, I got an ad? No way. This is a live stream, bro. Alright, we got the yada yada from Metro. Oh, a Subway ad. Let's go. Alright. Also, if you've never had one of these, they're actually pretty good. What? Oh, it just ends? Alright. Don't know where the end of this game goes. If you don't know what happens, basically, the Kano just dies at the end of this game. I guess it just cuts off randomly. That's why we got ads at the end, but I guess it just cuts off here. There's a lot of talk about like this specifically, like where the judge call should have went, you know, what should happen on this situation, right? Basically, Kano just blocks for 6 on the following turn, and just like ends up dying randomly. So instead of like trying to go for it, but your opponent's at like 14, so it's like really hard to try to kill them from 14 plus with AB2, unless you hit very, very specifically. But I would just basically say, pay for your resources, bro. Like, pay for your spells. Like, I'm not gonna knack him too much because I know they were saying that he's a pretty young guy, pretty young guy here. And you know, my first time playing in a future match, I was pretty nervous as well. Obviously, played a future match into a future match, back to back. So obviously, it's probably nervous. I don't want to not knock the kid too much, but just pay for your spells, and you probably would have won this game. So see you guys in our next overview. I'm gonna go over the PTI event in Philadelphia as well from this weekend, but this is gonna be that Battle Hardened recap. Congrats to Caleb playing Uzuri, getting that dub in the Battle Hardened, the last CC Battle Hardened before the PT in LA. I know next week is it's going to be the Dallas Battle Hardened, but it's Blitz for the main event, and then PTI event and CC. So we'll get a little bit of like a little test right before from the PTI event, but that Blitz Battle Hardened is going to be, you know what it is Blitz. So see you guys in that next one. Peace.